Last year, thousands of Maryland kids, second grade and younger, got suspended or kicked out of school for misbehaving in class. Now, these are 5, 6, 7-year-olds. But that's changing in Maryland. The new law is going to force schools to keep kids in the class no matter what. Now, this is a growing trend across the country as research shows the effects of suspensions. A 2016 study published in Social Problems found students who had been suspended earned lower test scores. WUSA 9's Sarah Konsmo talked to a father who's seen the impact of suspensions with his son.
If you would expect that law to affect just a small number of kids, you might be surprised to hear that just over 2,300 students aged grade 2 and younger were expelled or suspended during the 2015-2016 school year in Maryland. What's more, that number was on the rise.
I think for him, it must have felt that these people who were like his family didn't want him anymore.
Zephir Shaw's son Zephir was suspended formally 3 times and sent home informally too many times to count. It all happened in kindergarten and grade 1 at one of the best schools in the city of Baltimore. Shaw says he was often forced to bring his son into his law office while he worked. Once the school called as he was about to appear in court.
I said, well, what if I don't come? Because I really couldn't. And I was told at that point that the school could just call the police to come and take my son out of the building.
Running away, disrupting class, being difficult to handle. These are some of the reasons kids aged 4 through 7 got kicked out of school.
When you drill down on the numbers, you found that children of color, specifically African Americans, and children with disabilities were disproportionately suspended. So it has a real disparate impact on more vulnerable communities.
Shaw says he's not optimistic the bill will be effective. One exception to the law is to be deemed by a psychologist at the school to pose a threat to staff or students. In Zephir's case, he was often considered a threat due to a then undiagnosed anxiety disorder. Shaw says he's personally offended by the notion there are bad kids.
You know, he's not a bad person. He's a good kid going through a bad time.
The state of Maryland is commissioning a study to look at alternatives to suspensions for all grade levels.